Hello and welcome back to the Barbarian Philosopher podcast. As per usual, this is Jerome Liron, your host, and Liron.
What's up?
We're here. It is, January 20th, 2017.
Yeah.
Your boy, the orange dude, Trump, he's officially in today.
That's our very orange president we got now.
Yeah, man. What's good with you? Anything new since the last time we spoke?
I was just saying my sister had a baby, so I'm an uncle for the first time.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How you feeling about that?
I don't know, man. Like, I haven't seen the baby, so I guess I'll figure it out when I see it. But everyone says that once you're an uncle, it's the best because you get to play with the baby and wind it up and make it cry and then just
send it home.
Cool. Peace.
All the benefits, none of the responsibility. That's awesome. That's cool. My little sister had a baby about a year ago or so, and it's cool. You know, I don't know.
You got any of your own Rugrats running around?
No.
No, do you know?
No, I don't plan on it for some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a lot of work, man.
Yeah, they are. They are.
If you like sleeping and you like having your own money, and they're gonna suck that right out.
No question, and they're so easy to fuck up. You know, they're so easy to damage and like just ruin for life.
Yeah.
You know. So we have UFC 209 coming up soon. In March. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, dude, it's a nice card.
The headline fight is going to be Tony Ferguson versus Khabib, and I always fuck up on his last name, Khabib
Nurmagomedov, yes.
Yeah.
Khabib.
Khabib. It's so funny. Every time you say his name, you always pronounce that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's hilarious to me. This is set to be a really interesting fight, I think. Stylistically, two very different strikers. In Khabib, you have brawler / power wrestler, and then you have in Ferguson, very, very unorthodox striker, boxer / kickboxer, and fairly unorthodox jiu-jitsu. He's under Eddie Bravo. So,
how long has he been with Eddie Bravo, do you know? It wasn't his whole career.
I don't think so. But I know, at least I think during his UFC duration, he's been under Eddie Bravo, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I like his stuff, his jiu-jitsu style in that it's pretty aggressive and it's kind of submission focused.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of submissions and nice submissions under his. It's not boring, like, defensive.
Right.
Which, again, is great. You need boring defensive jiu-jitsu, but he's fun to watch in that he taps people out.
No question. So here's what I see with this fight. I think we're going to see much more if Khabib wins. We'll be able to tell much better how Khabib will do against McGregor from this fight than we'll be able to tell how Ferguson will do against McGregor from this fight.
Yeah.
Khabib, in what I've seen of him, I went back, watched a few fights of his, and his striking seems very, very power-based. A lot of big looping. He favors kind of the big leaping in hooks and big leaping in uppercuts to kind of close that distance. He doesn't seem to shoot very much from the center. I think the key for Ferguson beating Khabib is going to be to really, 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 really hold that center of the ring. The vast majority of his takedowns that I've seen him go for were against the cage or at least within range of the cage. He doesn't seem to shoot very much out in the open. Absolutely. I think
he does have those suplex. I think he does like to hit you a few times, get in the clinch, slip underneath or whatever, slip around the back, and then pick people up and dump them. But that's one of those things that's like, it's kind of hard to set that up. It's not gonna.
Yeah, it's not an easy setup from the center.
Yeah. Exactly. It's usually when you're turning away, you're trying to get away from it.
Exactly.
And you're running away.
Now, here's the thing, though. So Ferguson throws a lot of spinning attacks, a lot of spinning elbows, a lot of spinning back fists. if Khabib can slip under one of those, he can catch Ferguson's back from the center.
Okay.
That, I can see him catching it from the center in that manner. I think that's something that'll be an interesting play out, is how those spinning attacks work for or against Ferguson.
Yeah.
You generally, as a general rule of thumb, you don't want to turn your back to like a takedown heavy opponent.
Yeah.
In Ferguson's favor, when Khabib fought Michael Johnson, Khabib got rocked. And Michael Johnson has a striking style where he moves around a lot. He's not very stationary, and neither is Ferguson. Ferguson has longer arms, if I'm not mistaken, than Johnson does, and he seems to be a less predictable striker. So doing that math, and again, that math doesn't always play out, but doing that math, I feel like there's a good chance Ferguson can rock Khabib.
But some fighters get rocked and come back better. I mean, I'm thinking there was a few over these. I can't figure specifically who they were, but there are fighters who almost need to get rocked. And they get rocked and get better.
Right.
Like, it depends. It depends who you're fighting. Some fighters, if they rock you, they'll put you away. And then some fighters, they'll rock you and they'll let you get back into your flow, and that can almost make you more dangerous sometimes.
Right, that's true. That's true. Some people kind of need to be woken up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think oftentimes those guys are the brawler types, the pick you up and dump you types. You know, they get hit. They're probably not that hard to hit. They get hit and they just come back with more. You know what I mean? It's like a wild pit bull. You know, you kick it in the head and it's just. You know,
right? It ups his level.
Yeah,
man.
But again, it depends on the striker. I mean, a real top level striker will rock you and then put you away.
Yeah. On the ground, Ferguson has a couple Bravo chokes. I think he has a couple guillotine chokes.
Yeah,
and I've seen Khabib get caught in the guillotine.
That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting because Khabib. I think, I mean, it says his takedown defense is 81%. Ferguson's takedown defense is 81%. But I think eventually Khabib will get him down.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to want to box the whole thing, and I think he'll get the takedown. He lands 6.14 average takedowns per fight over 24 fights. So I mean, there's a lot of, you know, he gets his takedowns, but Ferguson isn't the type of person who's just going to climb up and let Khabib just rain elbows and hammer fists and just destroy him from there. Ferguson's got his own tricks up his sleeve off his back.
Yeah,
like we were talking about before, the Bravo choke. You know, that's off his back. It's a very dangerous thing, and he gets that a lot. So he's dangerous off his back.
That's true. And although you're seeing more of it now, a lot of the 10th Planet guys have a very different style of jiu-jitsu than the traditional jiu-jitsu. And I'm sure, obviously, this is a pretty high-level fight. Khabib is, you know, no slouch. So he has people that he's working with and that he's had some experience with from the 10th Planet background to kind of adjust and all that.
Yeah.
But like his striking, Ferguson's grappling is a bit unorthodox. So I think that's going to play out pretty interestingly.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that fight.
Yeah, me too.
I really hope nobody gets injured. Khabib, of course, is AKA. And they're always,
you got a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, they're always blowing out their knees and whatnot. So, you know, hopefully we got like another month, a little more than a month before this fight goes down. So hopefully no one gets busted up too bad in prep.
Yeah.
Also, Wonder Boy versus Woodley 2 is on that card.
Oh yeah.
How you feel about that?
I'm excited, man. That first fight was real fun to watch. As an MMA fan, that was like really that's what MMA is all about.
Yeah.
You know, it's the traditional martial arts versus this basically football player turned MMA fighter, you know? And I don't mean that as a diss, I mean that as a compliment. Like, you know, his athleticism, the way he moves, his ability to generate. He's got a lot of muscle or whatever, but I'm talking about Woodley now. He's got a lot of muscle, he's a big dude, but he uses it. How many guys his size and his power level are actually at the top of the divisions? Not that many, really.
That's true.
They gas out. They too slow. They don't know how to defend themselves. You know, so Woodley is like almost a new breed in terms of his power and athleticism has transcribed to MMA. I mean, not every fight he's had has been a stellar performance, but he's a beast. And I think in the first fight, I would have given it to him. What did they do? They gave it a draw?
Yeah. It was a draw.
And then the Duke, what was it, Bruce Buffer went out. And he was like, oh shit.
Had to go back again.
I don't remember.
Fucking Joe Rogan had to, Woodley looked like he was about to sock somebody.
Yeah.
It's okay, bro. It's all right. Just relax. Just relax. That was pretty funny. I think this fight, hopefully, in regards to Woodley, he goes much more takedown focused. Wonder Boy really didn't have anything for him on the ground.
I mean, his submission rate is really low. I'm looking at around 8% of his fights are submission rate. That's submissions.
That's Wonder Boy?
Yeah, that's Wonder Boy.
Yeah. I think Woodley should most definitely focus on getting that takedown. Get that same thing he did in round 1. Just play that all the way through.
I think Woodley is one of those fighters you see, and there's been a few of them. Wrestlers are like this a lot. They're a little stubborn, and they don't want to play their strength because it's not as fun. I think he likes to knock people out, even though he's actually probably. I feel like he could just grab someone, dash them down, shoot from halfway across the ring, dash them down, and just maul them. Mm-hmm. I think he doesn't want to do that, and that might be his undoing. Like he wants to box.
Yeah.
With Thompson, and he wants to beat Thompson at his own game, essentially.
Right.
And that could be a weakness. I see that in Woodley. I don't think he necessarily plays to his strengths as much as he could. So yeah, I agree. I think he could just go for the takedown, and I don't think Thompson would have anything. Yeah, when he was on his back, when Thompson was on his back, he had nothing.
No, he just fucking got beat up.
He just got beat up. He just looked like a schoolyard fight that didn't get broken up. He just pounded. That first round, I can't believe he got out the first round. He was taking mauling for like 2 minutes straight.
Yeah.
Tough guy.
Absolutely. I think as far as Wonder Boy goes, for adjustments, for sure, dude, keep your hands up.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure, keep your hands up,
man.
dude.
These karate guys like to have the low hands. They feel their center of gravity down there. But he didn't just have his hands down. He had his hands down, and his face was like a fucking foot away from
Woodley.
Yeah, Woodley.
Yeah. I hope he's working on that, because I get it. You're trying to bait people in. You're trying to counter punch.
Yeah.
But Woodley covers so much fucking distance.
Yeah.
He's so fucking explosive.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned this last time when we did the breakdown for them. Similar matchup as Rory McDonald versus Woodley, but what Rory had in his favor was that Thai long guard. So when the reached out hand kind of makes it more difficult for Woodley to breach that distance. Yeah. But two, even if he does, Rory's pretty covered up with his shoulder, his left side, his lead hand side, his shoulder has him covered, his rear hand side, his guard has him covered. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that came through really didn't connect with anything solid. Yeah. Whereas with Woodley, that shit was just pop, boop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's definitely got to make some adjustments. I think the favor goes to Woodley on this one.
Oh, yeah.
And I get the whole, I want to, show I'm not just a wrestler thing.
Yeah.
But especially because of the drama behind the tie, if he wants to really cement that this was a legit win, and that was a legit win, just stick to what you're good. Stick to what you're most proficient at. Yeah. And that's your wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. He did have that one shot, though. Do you remember that shot?
Which one?
You were at my house for this one.
Yeah.
I think it was an overhand right, and Thompson for about not even 2 seconds, a second was just
on against the cage.
Yeah.
That was fucking.
Yeah. But that was a
really,
wrestling
the fight could have been ended after that when he was up against the cage and just getting beat up for a good little portion of time.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't stop that fight.
Yeah, he went the distance too. It was crazy.
Yeah,
he's a tough guy. But yeah, I don't see how he wins it. Honestly, I didn't really think he had the. I guess he had maybe on points. He had more significant strikes landed in terms of volume. But I mean, it's not. This isn't amateur point fighting. This is.
Well, not only that, they've changed some of the rules now.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, there's a good video. Big John McCarthy on the new Big John McCarthy new MMA rules.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
YouTube it. It's a good video.
Yeah.
One of the things that they've changed, and maybe that'll be a subject for next time to go into more details, but one of the things that they changed is impact or he didn't use the word damage, he used the word effect or something like that. Where basically he said, if fighter A jabs fighter B 8 times, but fighter B rocks fighter A 3 times, fighter B gets that.
Did they break down the exact ratios?
No, they didn't. It wasn't like a specific percentile, like a 1 to 10 or whatever. But I think it's just generalizing. Don't count more soft hits versus less large hits. Go by the weight of where you should put the advantage. Should go by the effect that the hits have.
You should check that link out. Maybe you can post it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah. I'll probably post. Yeah, I'll post it in the description box.
Did they cover ground? Like, did they have any rules to stop the lay and pray?
Not to stop it so much, but they definitely said that they should favor who is going for the finish. So if you're on your back and you have a lay and pray fighter on top of you, but you're going for submissions, you're the one looking for the finish off your back, the favor goes to that, because the advantage goes to that guy.
Nice. I've been saying that for a long time. I think the reason that the people don't like to see, and I'm talking about the layman as opposed to people who actually fight themselves, but the reason 80% of MMA fans don't like grappling is because people are scared, the fighters, because they're not being rewarded for attempting submissions, especially when you're sweaty and stuff. Like when you're in an MMA ring, it's a lot harder to get submission off your back. But the fact that people are trying it makes the sport more entertaining. And ultimately, when you're an athlete, you are an entertainer. Yeah. Your job as an MMA fighter is to entertain the fans. It's not. Winning really is secondary. People want to see a fight, You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
That they have to. I'm glad that they jiggled the rules around a little bit, because we want to see people going for omoplatas and
hell yeah, dude.
All the crazy shit 10th Planet are coming up with and making up their own submissions, and we want to see people rolling around and trying things.
Yes,
dude, sitting on someone for.
Yeah, it definitely stifles the grappling portion of the sport if being aggressive with your submissions and looking to finish is outpointed by simply holding. I get that you're dominating the person. I get that you get points for top position, he's in the more beneficial position.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're not looking to do anything with it,
right,
then
exactly,
that doesn't really mean anything. You
already have a big advantage with the strikes. You always have the big advantage with being on top. But if you're laying there and you're not striking them, then like when we roll, if someone's on top of me, someone gets top position. If they're bigger or they just got a takedown and they're sitting on me, I do nothing. I just wait until they try something. Mm-hmm. That's my stuff, because they're not doing any damage. I don't mind. I can stay on my back. Personally, that's how I roll. And I think a lot of guys, jiu-jitsu guys, are like that. You're not doing anything. All right, you got the position, you got the points already. But if you're not going to try anything from there, then
I'm not really in any danger.
Yeah, I'm not in any danger. I just chill, get my breath back. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, another thing they changed up was the what qualifies as a grounded opponent. Yeah. So simply reaching down and touching the floor with one hand
to stop the knees and
no longer grounded opponent. You can't get kicked in the face. You can get kneed in the face with the one-handed touch.
Ooh,
basically,
nice.
you have to have. I think I don't remember whether it's all 4. I think it's just the one. The 3-point rule is no longer in effect.
Oh, okay. So
also, I think it's 2 hands or like you're on your butt or like down on your knees.
Right.
But the one-handed touch is no longer gonna stop you from catching the shit.
Yeah,
to the
because
face.
that was kind of. I mean, dudes were just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just chill here for a second. Finger on the ground. One finger on the ground.
No question. No question. And there's a lot of people that were getting where it was kind of borderline.
Yeah.
Like
they would send the knee and then he would touch it real quick.
Right.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's a hard call for the ref.
Yeah.
Because if the kick is already in motion.
Right.
And you happen to reach down as the kick is coming, you can't really fault the aggressive fighter for that.
Yeah, and then if you get stunned, then they have to call the fight. I'm sure that happened a couple of times where they called the fight because the dude was like, "Oh, I can't carry on."
Yeah, no question. I think that's a good call on their behalf. Another thing they're changing is, and it's going to be interesting to see how this affects Jones. Although I'm sure he'll get around it.
Who?
John Bones Jones.
Who's that?
John Jones? He's been gone for a while. Yeah,
I remember.
The outstretched fingers.
Oh yeah,
they're coming down a lot harder on that.
No eye pokes.
What they said is, if you're reaching out, you're fine to reach out. You're fine to extend your hand to range find. But if your fingers are going in the direction of the person's face, you're getting a warning.
Yeah,
and if
without even
eye poke or not, if you get caught just kind of doing that, that's
so
a warning.
What are you supposed to close your fingers when you do it?
I guess either fingers up, although that's a little iffy. That's a little hard because in the heat of things, you can easily.
You're also in a bad position anatomically, like
you can get your
fucking hand up
busted up.
Yeah, it's not a good position to have.
But I think probably just closed fist.
Closed fist, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be an adjustment
for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be
for sure, and you do lose a couple inches.
Yeah,
by bringing your fingers in that way.
That's true, but it was like at least every card you'd get one eye poke.
No question. It was annoying. No one wants to see that. No, and especially like when it's like what's his name, Belcher had his eye really fucked up.
Yeah.
Bisping's one of his eyes is fucking milky and shit.
Right?
Like that shit is just.
He's like looking off in the other fucking direction.
No
he's
question.
Looking at you, and then he's looking at the.
No, he's talking. Yeah, he's talking to Joe Rogan and looking at Dana White.
Maybe might be an advantage.
I'm glad they're doing something about that. I still think they should probably switch up the gloves a little bit.
Yeah,
figure something out about that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that style of glove is so heavily branded with the UFC, they don't want to change it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Plus, it might hurt the grapplers if they start fucking with a glove as well.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know what the specific proposal was to stop the eye pokes with the glove. I know there was a lot of talk about it, but you gotta balance it out.
Yeah, for sure. Also, and I just saw this on the way over here. Travis Brown is moving to Black Zillions.
Oh, thank.
I'm really happy to hear that. I'm really, really, really fucking happy to hear that.
Because he was on a nice little run at the beginning.
He was very intimidating. A lot of people were like, "Fuck, this is the dude that's going to be the new champ." For as big of a guy as he was, he had very intricate, maybe isn't the right word, but very slick footwork. His kicks were very intimidating, and after he moved over there with Edmund, man, that shit just started to dwindle away. Like he isn't considered the type of prospect that he was pre-Edmund.
Yeah, he fell out a little bit, didn't he? He fell.
Absolutely. I hope he brings Ronda along with him as well.
Yeah, I mean, has she made a statement about whether she's going to fight again?
I don't think so. I know Edmund made some kind of statement like it's 50-50, but she personally, I don't think she's said anything yet. If she has, I've yet to see it. What else?
Interesting. Sorry, I was just looking up.
It's all good. the interim belts thing. This is something that's going kind of out of control right now, I think.
Yeah.
For UFC 209, for example, you have a lightweight champion in Conor McGregor. He's going to be off for about 9 months. He's coming back. He's not injured. He's not on. He hasn't retired. He hasn't quit. He's in the sport, but you're already putting out interim belts.
Yeah.
I feel like, to some extent, that is WME's, the company who has bought the UFC. That's their way of trying to make this money back.
Yeah.
The $4 billion that they spent on purchasing the UFC, they're trying to make that back and trying to, push the sport out and everything. But I think that hurts the sport in the long run.
Yeah.
It cheapens what it means to have a belt in that organization.
Yeah, and what you're saying is because of the new ownership company are trying to branch out a little bit.
They're trying to branch out.
I think they need to, man. MMA is getting so big. Like, you already got, look, Conor's done a lot of it. You already got these superstars coming up. It's huge in America. I really don't think it has to get any bigger in America. They're trying to branch out to other countries maybe. But in Europe, it's blowing up. Around the world. I just came back from Japan, I told you last time. And you see MMA gyms popping up there, which is, they've had MMA for a while, but it's getting a lot bigger there too. So, I don't think they need to, lose any of the... There's a chance they'll lose the standard fans, There was a while when UFC was pumping out... They're a little bit better now, but pumping out, 3 cards a month. And I just stopped watching all of them.
Yeah.
I just stopped watching all of it. I just stopped watching fighting because I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? I lost that build up. Yeah, exactly. It started to turn into basketball where they're fighting. They're fighting everyone's fighting so often that it belittles. And that's the same thing with the belts. The more belts you have, and I get it. You were also saying about increasing the amount of belts so that the weight cutting isn't such an issue. Yeah,
and that's not official, but it is a subject I'm hearing pop up more and more, is the possibility of adding more weight classes.
Yeah.
So that when you have in between fight, who's a good example of that is Johnny Hendricks. Johnny Hendricks is having a consistently hard time getting down to 170.
Yeah.
But he's probably a little light for a middleweight. He's a little small.
He's too short for
he's kind of short for a middleweight. In between those two weight classes would be really, really good for him.
Yeah.
And especially considering that they've taken out the IVs and all of that. I don't think it would be a horrible idea to have, maybe 1 or 2 more weight classes.
Which one specifically, though? Because, in between 155 and 170, you're probably not going to have one.
No, probably not. But I just used him as a good example.
In between what? Welterweight 170 and middleweight 185, maybe there could be something there.
Maybe there. For sure, between, heavyweight and light heavy.
I agree.
That they should have.
That I agree. 205 to, fucking 300 pounds.
Yeah. That's a giant fucking
That's
leap.
a giant fucking leap. There are people who are walking around at 230 who are just basically fucked. You know what I mean?
No question.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of fucking heavyweight, so John Jones has declared, I plan on having 1 or 2 heavyweight fights. This is on his interview with Joe Rogan. I don't think that's going to be his return fight, nor do I think it should be his return fight.
Yeah.
But he said, inevitably, I'm going to fight at heavyweight.
It makes sense. He bulked up a lot, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He's been on that prison workout shit.
Yeah, he did. I think a good fight for him at heavyweight would be Rothwell.
Yeah.
Ben Rothwell.
That would be good. Test him out.
Definitely. He's a big dude. He's not a slouch, but he's not top 3. I think that would make for a good competitive first fight for, I was about to say Joe Rogan, for John Jones.
I'm thinking about that now. I would love to see Jones Overeem.
That would also be a good fight.
I'd love to see that one too. Against people who hit hard. Because Jones, he does get hit. he does get hit. He's not like he has the best head movement. His positioning is really good because he's fucking a foot. You know, he's got a foot reach advantage over everyone. But he uses his distance really, really well. He goes from his striking distance to the clinch, beautifully, and people don't usually catch him in between.
Yeah.
But he does get caught, like overhands. You know, people like Cormier will catch him a couple times, but he would win everything pretty comfortably, and I don't think that's going to change if he goes back to light heavyweight.
Here's where I see, in light heavyweight, I don't see that changing. You know who else would I think would be a good, really good first fight for him? Stephan Struve.
Oh yeah.
And here's why I say that. Stephan Struve has a tendency to be kind of lackluster.
Oh, yeah.
You know? He doesn't have a great record, but he has, underneath Jones, the longest reach, right? And one of the biggest things...
He has less of a reach?
Jones has more of a reach than... Yes.
Jesus.
And Stephan Struve is like fucking 6'11", 7 foot.
Skyscraper, yeah.
Yeah. Jones's arms and legs in relation to his torso are a little bit wonky. But I feel like when Jones fought Gustafsson, Jones is used to being the taller guy. You see this a lot with taller fighters, where they get so used to having that reach advantage, they're not accustomed to fighting when they don't have it. And you saw this with Gustafsson versus Jones.
Oh yeah, that was the first time you'd seen Jones really put through his paces.
Yeah, I think that's the most fucked up or beat up we've seen Jones be.
Until that fifth round, I was going to say...
Yeah, that could have been... Gustafsson could have eked out that fight.
I think if Gustafsson hadn't gassed...
Yeah.
If he'd been as good an athlete as Jones, he would have won that fight, really. Yeah. Because he was taking it to him. He was landing the better shots. And then that fifth round, Jones just stayed the course and just dominated that fifth round.
No question.
Yeah.
So I think the range and the height differential with Struve versus Jones could make for an interesting fight.
Yeah.
But Jones, technically and performance-wise, and as an athlete, is, I think, far superior to Struve. So I think that might make an interesting first heavyweight fight as well.
Yeah, that would be cool. That might revitalize that weight class, because honestly, no disrespect to anyone in the heavyweight weight class, but at least me personally, I haven't been excited to see a heavyweight fight for a while.
Yeah. I think the last heavyweight fight that I got really excited about was like the last Cain Velasquez versus Dos Anjos.
Yeah.
Or Dos Santos.
Dos Santos. Yeah.
That was a big one.
That was like over a year. That was maybe even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
I can't think of any any fight that
I like watching him.
I like, but I'm not like, I gotta see this.
Because he's so inconsistent, and he's just not the same as he was pre-juice. Go out and say it. But I would love to see him. Just let him have the juice. Just give him his juice back. He should get a pass.
Yeah.
You know, he knows how to use his steroids. He should just have him.
He is set to fight Mark Hunt. For 209.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. It's funny to watch Mark Hunt. He's got 0% submission.
That's crazy.
And 25% decision. 3 out of 4 of his fights are just TKO.
Who do you have on that fight?
Honestly, probably Mark Hunt. Actually, Overeem's looked super jittery. Like he's got the yits since who was it knocked out? Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Since Bigfoot knocked him out, he's looked so frenetic and like he's worried about getting hit, and then he's trying to hit someone, and even against like Travis Brown, he was banging him up, and then boom, he just got clocked. And against Mark Hunt, forget about it. Mark Hunt is like, it's not that he hits you lightly and you go away, but he hits so fucking hard. Most of the times, by the time he's hit you, he's already walked around. He's already walked away because he knows you're gone. He knows you're not waking up until tomorrow morning. You know?
Right.
So, I mean, he got the shit knocked out, shit beat out of him, not knocked out of him at all, by Brock. But Brock was on the juice. And Brock was just stylistically a horrible fight for Mark Hunt.
Have you heard? So apparently Mark Hunt is got some lawyers and is trying to sue Brock and the UFC.
Honestly, I don't know about the UFC. I think he should really fucking sue Brock Lesnar, because, and I don't like lawsuits, but I don't think there was any. I don't really know all the facts, so maybe I kind of take that back a little bit. But if it was the case that Brock just took steroids, had a comeback fight because he felt like being, everyone singing his praises one more time and getting back in the UFC one more time. If he just did that, and it wasn't like, I'm sure he'll say that, but like if it wasn't a case of, I really didn't know what I was taking, or something like my doctor gave me something for I don't know. People have all these like excuses.
Yeah, everyone's getting popped for tainted dick pills all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's on some fucked up dick pills now.
So I don't know. Barring some real special circumstance, you're going in there to fight with someone, and he did damage. He really did damage to Mark Hunt. Not in any surprising way, but just he laid on him and just beat the shit out of him for three rounds. And Mark Hunt's a tough guy, but that's not part of the job. Those aren't the rules.
Right.
To go in there against someone who has an incredible advantage by being on the juice, when those are specifically not in the rules.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially because the way Brock did it, it's not like he'd been fighting for a while and he just came out of nowhere and he just had one fight. He had no intent of really making a run back in the UFC, and I think he took the piss out of Mark Hunt and he took the piss out of the sport.
So I would have to look it up to be sure, but if I'm not mistaken, the UFC was aware that Brock had popped dirty before the fight occurred, which is why he wants to sue them as well.
Yeah, but maybe he should.
Which, if that's the case, I feel like the organization holds a higher level of responsibility than the fighter who's popping whatever he's popping. Because at the end of the day, when you're paying people for their performance, name a professional sport where people aren't juicing or trying to take some advantage.
Yeah, that's the reality.
The athletes are going to do that. Yeah. So as the organization, the responsibility kind of falls on you to make sure they're not doing that. And if you
find out about it,
and then kind of like, look a butterfly.
Yeah.
And look the other way, then I feel like the bulk of the responsibility kind of falls on them. And again, I say that with, a grain of salt. Don't quote me on it, because I would have to look it up and go a little bit deeper into the details of it. But I do believe that is the case.
Yeah, I mean, these guys' jobs, man. These guys have wives and kids, and ain't nobody trying to go back and look like something out of, Friday the 13th for a couple of weeks,
No question.
This is their job. People look at this from the outside and they say, these are fighters. They're fighters and this is their life. These are men. You know what I'm saying? These are men. And if the rules say that you're not supposed to be on juice, look, if the rules say you can be on juice, then fuck it. Bart can be on juice and Mark Hunt can take his drugs too. You know what I'm saying? Then fine. Cool. If those are the rules. Like I think in Japan it was kind of it was kind of like, you do what you want, dude. We're not going to check you. So.
They would literally have it like in the contracts.
Yeah.
That if you so happen to shoot up, we won't look.
Yeah.
Ensign Inoue did a interview with Joe Rogan, and he was saying first it was in my contract that I could shoot up and they won't check.
Wow.
Like they would literally come to him and suggest.
Yeah.
Like, man, maybe you come fuck with this shit over here, bro,
And everyone would talk about Fedor being on steroids. First of all, Fedor didn't look like he was on steroids, but second of all, he was fighting dudes on steroids too. So I mean, whatever. Yeah. I don't think that takes away from his accomplishments in Pride. But regardless, I don't like that. I really don't like that one person is on it. Especially because I feel like the way that Brock did it, was really disrespectful. It wasn't like he's a UFC fighter anymore. He took his break. He got sick, he took his break, he said, I'm not in it anymore. And he just came back on the juice and then, fuck someone up. I don't really like that very much.
Yeah, it's kind of a salty, a salty way to do it. Speaking of drugs and whatnot, the National Athletic Committee is looking to take weed off of the ban list.
Woohoo!
Yeah. I'm sure the Diaz brothers are very excited about this.
I'm sure they spearheaded it.
Yeah,
they're on
really. As a matter of fact, let me read the statement I have here from them. 1 second. I'm pulling it up.
I also don't think it's a surprise that comes right off. I think Nate, although he looks like kind of a dummy, I don't think he is. I think he's a smart guy. He sat in that press conference and he smoked weed in that press conference.
Yeah, you know. Hey, he's a fool for that. So here's what it says. It says NAC to remove marijuana from its prohibited drug list. Commission Chairman Anthony Marnell said the NAC would be doing its research over the next few months. They are planning on holding a special meeting about the topic this coming March to announce their final decision after the research has concluded. In support of the proposed changes, Commissioner J. Daniel Carpenter, an eye doctor for the U.S. Olympic boxing team, stated that he believes marijuana is in no way, shape, or form a performance enhancement drug. However, if the state of Nevada removes marijuana from its prohibited drug list, the UFC would have to continue referring to the United States Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, and their policies, which still lists marijuana as a performance enhancer. Still under the review at the hearing is the NAC's incorporation of the new Unified Rules of MMA. Some states have added the rules, while other states oppose the new rules. Commissioner Marnell said we should hear where Nevada stands in the next 3 months after a vote has been made.
Nice.
So
the Athletic Commission are thinking about legalizing it.
Yeah, the Athletic Commission is thinking about taking it off the banned list. That doesn't necessarily mean USADA will, but it is moving in that direction.
What's weed's legal status in the state of Nevada?
I don't know. That would probably be something,
because it would be hard for them to remove it without it having at least some medicinal value, like legally, right?
I'm not sure. Probably. Let's see, Nevada.
You can't be like, oh, cocaine. We're taking cocaine off the list.
Let's see, Nevada marijuana law.
Says yes to legal cannabis. Getting that from
the
internet, so it's got to be true, right?
Oh, nothing's ever false on the internet, bro.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
If it's on the interwebs, it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it's. Yeah. It still outlaws non-medical. So I guess medically, you can have marijuana.
Those are so easy to get, dude. Yeah. That's just saving face.
Yeah.
Speaking of marijuana, last time we spoke, and I'm just going to touch on it real quick. We were talking about why it was that weed became illegal in the first place, and I referenced some Joe Rogan commentary, and it was kind of off the top of my head, so I didn't have too much about it. But this is the super layman's quick version of it. Basically, it was relatively difficult to produce and make the pulp using hemp, right? And this was done through slave labor.
Make the pulp? What do you mean the pulp?
So like if you want to make paper, or you want to do anything, you have to process the hemp. So you have to break it down, and kind of create like a pulp out of it.
So you're saying that the history started with it as a non-smoke? It's not something you put in your body.
Right. It was as a textile. It was like cotton or what have you.
Yeah.
So slave labor was used to produce the pulp and kind of break it down and all of that. And once slavery was outlawed, that kind of got rid of the way of refining the hemp into a usable
because no one wanted to do that.
Yeah, it's really shitty work.
It's shitty work.
And it was easier to process cotton, right? So now you have everybody who's investing their businesses that deal with this type of thing into how to process cotton. And after a while, a machine is created called the decorticator. And the decorticator was a very, very simple way and a very much more easy and efficient way of processing the hemp. And there was a dude named William Randolph Hearst who owned a bunch of paper mills, and it would have cost him lots and lots of money to switch over from the system that he had in place as it was to a hemp system. So what he did is he started putting out articles in newspapers saying that marijuana was causing black and Mexicans to go out and rape white women, and this causes, of course, a bunch of fervor, and you can't have that. So marijuana is then outlawed.
Hearst is the Hearst Castle guy, or is that someone else?
William Randolph Hearst. Yeah, this guy right here.
Oh, he's the one that they based Citizen Kane on.
Okay.
If for any old movie buffs out there.
Okay.
So he was a man. He was a man of influence.
Yeah. He had a lot of influence in particularly the media because he worked at a paper mill. And if you're going to put a newspaper,
he had a newspaper. Yeah,
you're going through this dude, and he has his own, so he can really put out whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. So what were they making the paper out of then? He wanted to keep the paper out of what, trees basically.
Yeah.
He didn't
want to. Yeah, he didn't want to switch over to hemp.
Okay. And so he was like, and he didn't want anyone else to be able to either.
Well, I think he just didn't want to spend the millions of dollars to switch over his system.
But why would he devilize, if that's even a word? Why would he demonize hemp so much? Why would he go to such lengths to demonize hemp?
To save millions of dollars.
Just to save himself money.
Yeah, I really don't think it was anything beyond just, I personally really don't want to spend this much money to switch my systems over. So, if other people don't get to do it, fuck them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lose my millions of dollars so that they get to process hemp.
Yeah. And at that time, blacks and Mexicans were the,
go-to.
They were the go-to
scapegoat. Yeah, for sure.
After the Jews and before the Muslims, they had their time. And you could say they're still like that now, but he used that, that racial component to make everyone really have a strong fear and hatred towards it.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to remember, this is not very long after slavery was abolished. This wasn't 1980 or anything. This was pretty recently after slavery was abolished. Yeah. So it's not hard at all to believe that spreading that kind of a rumor would cause enough fervor in the populace to be like, oh, we got to outlaw this.
Yeah.
So
it's funny though when you talk to people who are anti-weed. Most people who listen to this are probably not. I feel like, but when you listen to people who are anti-cannabis who want it to be illegal, the most common thing I hear is, oh, it's a gateway drug. Like, oh, if you smoke that, you're going to do heroin. I'm just like, so what? You're going to make it illegal because some people do heroin. They're like, I don't know why. It makes zero sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense regardless to keep it illegal. I don't see what the benefit is, really.
It's
monetarily, even if you're like a strict, economic person, like it doesn't.
Well, oddly enough, very similar to its origins in being outlawed, a lot of the fighting to keep it outlawed is from pharmaceutical companies. And again, legalizing marijuana makes what am I trying to say here? Marijuana is a tool or a medicine or a substance that can be used to treat or at least treat symptoms of a very wide variety of issues.
Huge amount, that's true.
And there's a lot of money through the pharmaceutical companies pushing their own products individually. This pill will do this, this pill will do that, that pill will do this. And by the way, these pills don't have seeds, so you can't grow your own. You have to come to us. There's a lot of money behind it. So keeping it illegal benefits them financially, just like not switching over to the decorticator benefited your boy William Randolph Hearst financially. Same thing.
It's kind of like fossil fuels, like the oil companies like trying to shut down electric cars and so on and so forth, and for a long time they were threatened by them. At this point, it looks like the tides are turning, and if they're smart, they will. I just don't think you can keep it illegal forever. You can't keep, renewable energy sources, hybrid cars and hydrogen cars or whatever. That's the future. Like, people are getting out of the fossil fuel. So if you're smart, instead of continuing to fight, they would just maneuver themselves in a position where they own. You know, just from their perspective. You know,
I wonder how much of that is just personal greed. And what I mean by that is obviously there's like the monetary benefit to the company. But let's say I'm fucking CEO of, I don't know, fucking Exxon or whoever, or Toyota or whoever, right? I'm the CEO of Toyota. And I'm 60-something. I'm the head dude. I'm 60-something years old.
Yeah.
Realistically, how much time do I have alive to benefit from making this money?
Yeah.
10, 20 years?
Yeah.
Is the switch over going to be that drastic that within that 10 or 20 years it's going to make sense for me?
Yeah, and it's the same thing with you know, the climate change, right? Realistically, most people agree that it's that there is some human element or whatever in climate change, but like if you're the one in charge of it, you don't give a shit because you're not going to be around by the time that the shit hits the fan. It's going to be your. But then you got to think about your, you know, grandkids or whatever. Just, you know, the human race and just general sense of morality. You know.
I don't think we do as good with that as we would like to think we would.
I think, especially when people when they have their reputation or their business threatened. You know, people spend their whole life building this thing. From their perspective, they don't want that to be threatened. Going back to the weed thing, the pharmaceutical companies or whichever companies are blocking it now, which I imagine the pharmaceutical companies are doing a lot. I would if I were them, right? Mm-hmm. You can see why. Mm-hmm. Like cannabis is extremely threatening to people who make Tylenol and Advil and Aleve. Like, fuck, they would be we'd be out of business. Think about all the side effects. Weed has its own side effects, but again, there are certain strains where you can mitigate that. You know, low THC, high CBD helps with the pain. You know, these Aleve and these Advils and these pills have big side effects, especially when people get. A lot of people are low-level addicted. They pop 2 or 3 a day for fucking everything: back pain, knee pain, head pain, whatever. And you see them; they're just part of the culture. Like, no one cares if you pop a few painkillers. No one gives a shit. But they are toxic to the liver. They do fuck your intestines up. They have big, you know,
long-term effects.
Long-term effects. So if weed was around, these people, their bread and butter, I feel, you know, the GlaxoSmithKlines and the what have you, you know, the big pharma companies, a lot of their bread and butter is the prescription medications, but these over-the-counter medications that people just pop in all day long. Mm-hmm. You can't live without their Advil. Mm-hmm. Her girlfriend's like that. Can't live without her Advil. You know, anytime she feels a period coming on, she's like, let me have 10 of these real quick, even if it's not there yet, just in case, you know. She's drinking this shit. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense for them to want to fight it, to be threatened by it. However, business-wise, financially, it also makes sense to get with a program. Otherwise, they'll probably be...
Yeah, I really do feel like a lot of that is just by the time it makes sense for us to switch over, I'll be out of here.
Yeah.
You know,
Peace,
I'll let the next...
I wasn't the one that fucked it up. You were.
Right.
Yeah. But it's also like that, you know, you see that same thing with presidents. Like, I don't want to get into politics, but a lot of presidents... You know, the effect of your presidency probably isn't going to happen. A lot of the big things aren't going to happen for maybe 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. And then it's all sort of disappeared into the mist of history and no one really can isolate what you did. Mm-hmm. So they're not really incentivized to make the changes that need to benefit the country over the next 20 years. Because they're going to be out. The only things people are going to remember is the exact, you know, laws that they passed. Obama will be remembered for Obamacare more than a lot of the stuff that's just you're not really gonna be able to knuckle down exactly. Just using that as an example. So, you know, they're incentivized, apart from their own morality, which, as you say, isn't always the best motivator for people. They're going to be incentivized to just do the most kind of glitzy, glammy thing that everyone looks at, like, oh, I saved the kids, or oh, I killed cancer. That's what they were looking to do, you know? Right,
but as far as like long-term policy effect changes things, I see what you're saying.
Like, and that's the same with businesses. That's the same with everything. Whenever you're in the public eye and people are looking at you, you want to do the thing, you want to do the flashy thing, so everyone claps, applauds you off the stage, as opposed to the kind of less glamorous thing that actually helps long term.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of off topic, but
it's all right. It's my
okay.
right there.
We're at about like the 55-minute mark. I think that this is a good point to wrap it up.
Yeah, dude.
Do you have anything else you want to say before we get off?
No, whoever's listening, thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.